Welcome to Wales and the Anglesey Circuit. I'm here this weekend because I'm going to be doing the BMW Motorrad Performance Academy. It's a training course which caters to pretty much everyone from complete beginners all the way up to seasoned racers. I'm going to be starting at level 1 today, but I also have a choice of 3 different bikes: the BMW F900, the S1000RR and the S100RR. But seeing as though the S1000RR is considered to be one of the best sports bikes on the market today, I think its more naked brother is kind of overshadowed. So I'm going to be riding that today, and we're going to be doing a bit of a road test too. Well, not a road test, but a track test. You know what I mean. But also, one of the other reasons why I'd prefer to be riding the S1000R to the RR is that it's going to be 30 degrees today, and that's just ambient, not track temperature. So after a long day of riding, I think I'll be more happy to be on the more upright bike. Well, that was the plan anyway, but as it turns out, the instructors took the S1000Rs for themselves, and that meant that I was left with the S1000RR. But seeing as the instructors were 16 times Isle of Man TT winner Ian Hutchinson, 3-time British Superbike champion Niall Mackenzie, and 2009 British Supersport champion and Isle of Man TT winner Steve Plater, I think I'm okay with giving them priority. And due to insurance reasons, we weren't actually able to run GoPros on track, so back to the studio. Now, before you think that's the end of the video, absolutely not. We have a lot to talk about. First of all, let's just talk about the bike. Because yes, I was a bit intimidated jumping on the S1000RR, but I have to say, for a 1000cc sports bike, I was amazed at how user-friendly it was. There's a huge amount of electronics going on under the hood. Not that it has a hood, but you know what I mean. And it's all controlled by essentially a tablet in front of you on the dashboard. Honestly, you could spend months going through all the different settings it has, from traction control, wheelie control, suspension settings, throttle response, engine braking. It just goes on and on. Realistically, any journalist would need to have one on long-term loan to be able to give you a good understanding of everything that it has to offer. The dash even syncs with your phone for music, comms, sat-nav, and a whole lot more. So BMW, if you're watching this, you have my email address. I certainly wouldn't mind doing a long-term review. Now, these were essentially the road bikes, but they'd been fitted with a race fairing, complete with stickers instead of lights, and obviously had some sticky, but I believe still road legal, track tyres, and an exhaust that was probably also more designed for the road as well, as it got so hot that it burnt through the fairing stickers, not to mention cooking my feet during sessions, even at the middling speeds I was riding around at. But whatever the case, I was hugely impressed with the bike. While I got off the Panigale V4S thinking that that was a bike that I would never be capable of riding well, the BMW was the complete opposite. It's genuinely a 1000cc, 200 brake horsepower sports bike that you could ride as a complete novice, all the way up to being a racer. I can completely understand why a course like this would exist with that bike, because it was perfect, and I'm sure most people will go away wanting one in their garage, because I know I did. Anyway, back to the course. With the demise of the Ron Haslam Race School, there's definitely gaps in the market for getting people into track riding. Taking your bike onto a track day is much more of a daunting task than taking a car onto track. So these kinds of courses are designed to cut through the initial fears that you might have and get you started on your journey. Also, without having to put your own bike at risk as well, which is a big plus. And obviously, similar to some other courses of this type, there are multiple levels to offer training to cater to your level. But the truth of it is that it caters to your level no matter what, as one of the biggest selling points of this course is that it's been designed to have a small student to instructor ratio. Now, that will change depending on how full each course is, but it's supposedly never more than 4 riders. But the day is designed to whittle it down to doing one-on-one tuition sessions as well. And actually, on the day that I went, there was only 8 riders total. So they were able to restructure the day a little bit so that we got plenty of one-to-one instruction, And the track was also fairly empty, so you weren't constantly dealing with traffic, either slower riders in front or faster riders behind. The instructors don't force a curriculum down your throat, they focus on what you need and want to get out of the course, not just getting you through what they've been told they're supposed to. Your day will be split between on-track sessions, either with a few riders per instructor or one-on-one, and off-track training in one of the garages that will focus on things like body positioning, which for me was something I really needed to work on. I wasn't really that bothered about riding fast. And at this point in the video, we can actually switch back to Anglesey to focus on some of the specifics a little more, as I managed to grab Hutchie and also my main instructor for the day, Steve Plater, to discuss a little more about the course. So we're here with racing legend Ian Hutchison, who is one of the instructors here. Hutchie, what are we doing here today?
Yeah, it's a BMW M1000RR day, and there is various other bikes as well. The M bike, S bikes, RRs, and a lot of one-to-one tuition, basically.
This is obviously something that caters to everyone, from complete beginners to someone who may even be a seasoned racer. If someone is more on the beginner side of it and they're a bit intimidated about coming and doing something like this, what's the first thing that you'd say to them?
I think the good thing with coming here is it's not overcrowded. You've not got 60 bikes out on track at the same time, and the most you'll be out with is 4 riders, and then as the day goes on it comes down to one of us with 2 riders and then one-on-one before lunch and then for the afternoon. So I mean, to get track time around a beautiful circuit like this, one-to-one for most of the day, is like pretty special.
And as an instructor, what would you say are some of the more rookie mistakes that people make?
I don't think it's rookie mistakes really. I think everybody's got a different level, and you get people here that aren't trying to go any faster, they're not trying to race. You know, you can sort of say, oh, you need to hang off a bit more, but they're not here to do that, they're here to enjoy themselves. So we need to speak to the customers first and see what it is they want out of the day, and if they want to run around and us just give them some pointers, that's what we'll do. If they want us to make them 2 seconds a lap faster, then we'll try to do that as well. And obviously, as a BMW rider, tell me a little bit about the S1000RR. Why was it chosen, do you think, for something like this? Yeah, I mean, the S1000RR is the race background to the bike, so for a circuit bike, that's the sort of ultimate bike to ride. There are people that want to ride the R, and there's people that want to ride the M, and yeah, so yeah, I think as far as riding on a track with a race bike is as close as it's going to get to what we're riding in the BSB World Superbike TT. It's the same bike basically.
Perfect. I'll let you get out of the heat because it's hot out here in the pit lane. So obviously, Steve, you've been my main instructor today. What have I been doing wrong?
Mate, we've only got an hour. I can't explain that flipping much in that short time. No, seriously. You know, like I said earlier, you know, when you first get out on circuit, I know you've been here before car-wise and so on, but it's a little bit alien riding a two-wheel machine around the Anglesey course. You know, we're on the coastal course, it's great, and a few blind spots. So it's a case, first of all, it's a case of just getting at one with a track on the bike you're riding, you know, on the BMWs. But then from yourself, you know, you was a little bit rigid to begin with, a little bit straight-armed, not relaxing enough the top half of your body, not using the footrest enough to steer the bike. So it's just, you know, when you're trying to break old habits, it can take some time, you know, because there's a lot going on when you ride a motorcycle around a motorbike track, you know, any race course. So it's just, and it's as much about getting you to relax, really. You're here for a good time, not to be uptight when you're riding a motorcycle. So that's the main thing. But to answer your question, no, chipping away, it's all about where you're sitting on the bike. I'm not too worried about, you know, hanging off and how much you're hanging off and so on, unless you're getting too much lean angle, but it's more a case of doing the right things to make you enjoy the day, do the job correctly, and to have a smile on your face when you're finished.
Yeah, it's not a bad way to spend a Monday, is it?
Oh, flipping it, no, especially in the sunshine. No, not at all. You know, there's worse jobs in the world.
And while I said GoPros can't be used on the students' bikes, from level 2 onwards, you'll be sent out with an instructor that has GoPros on his bike to film you from multiple angles so that you can assess your own riding from their point of view, as they'll lead you out for a few laps and then go behind to watch what you're doing through each corner. So to give you a little taste for that, at the end of the day, Hutchie very kindly agreed to get some footage with me for the purpose of this video. Unfortunately, I'm clearly not up to the job of following a record-breaking Isle of Man TT champion around a track just yet, so here's some footage of me very much in the distance. All in all, I have to say this was exactly the kind of course that I was looking for. Even though it was a particularly small group, I think partly down to the fact that it was the hottest day in Welsh history, there were people there from different ages, different sizes, all different experience levels, but none of it really mattered as you weren't forced to match what other people were doing. It was very much about getting you what you wanted out of the day, be it on the F900, the S1000R or the S1000RR. Although, granted, for some reason there weren't enough of the naked bike on the day that I was there. But I partly booked the single R because I thought that the double R would be a bit much to ride for essentially 4 to 5 Grand Prix distances in the blazing heat, whilst my brain was in overdrive trying to learn as much as I could. But even so, the bike was so good, I should have just chosen that in the first place, so I can't really complain about that. The bottom line is, if you're thinking about doing this course, I absolutely recommend that you do. I understand for some that Anglesey is a bit of a journey, but it's so worth the trip. Not only is the course brilliant, but you can't really ask for a more beautiful setting. I was there for a couple of days and I can't wait to go back. In fact, so much so that I'm already itching to do level 2, especially in the knowledge that level 2 will still be catered to me personally. So again, BMW, you have my email address.